Hello, once again, Star Wars unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, again sporting my custom Ahsoka shirt from Karina Designs, which you could find on the TeePublic link in the description. There's a couple of characters from Ahsoka, and I'm really excited about it. I know that there are people out there that are really getting into 3D printing, and that's something I'm really excited about. Watch my previous episodes about some 3D printed droids that I bought and painted up. And I'm really looking into maybe doing some 3D printing myself in the future. But for the time being, that's not where I am at right now. Instead, I'm enjoying kind of promoting my daughter, who is a professional artist, and her really cool concept designs for what ifs. You know, what if Ahsoka had their own action figure line, and going from there. But anyway, check out all the other content that we have for sale in our store on TeePublic. Link is in the description. So today, kind of doing a little follow-up. There's a bunch of follow-ups here. If you've been watching the channel, there was basically a couple of shelf straightening ups that we were doing, and I decided that this baby right here, I would like to unbox and put him in the Endor display, which I'm going to get to in a moment. Okay. I also decided that this little guy, my Starspeeder 3000, I really love. Unfortunately, there's a battery, and the battery is running dead. So I'm thinking about maybe trying to do a partial unboxing where I just cut open the tape and unbox it enough to get it open, replace or remove the battery, and then see if I can get it back in the box. If that doesn't work, then I'll just unbox it, because it's nice, but I don't really think that the box itself is in okay shape, so I'm not really that concerned about it. But I did also, in my final, that was also kind of a shelf removal, and I didn't want to get rid of it, but I did want to kind of, one of the reasons I started this channel was to start unboxing some of my toys, because there were a lot of toys that just were taking up so much room. But I love the boxes too. That's the thing. Look at my backdrop. I have all my vintage boxes here. I love it. You know, it's just that there's only so much room for stuff. So, and then the next thing I wanted to do before I even get to that was I wanted to talk about my little acquisition from. I went to a Woodbridge toy show a few weeks ago, or at the time of the recording, it was yesterday. But at the time that I get this released, it'll be a few weeks. Anyway, so. The gentleman, I will let you know, he charged me what I believe was a very fair price. And it was a loose price, and it was an incomplete price. And he did warn me that there were pieces missing. Most notably, the R2-D2 that comes with this set. For those who don't know, this is the Droid Factory playset. It came out during A New Hope. And it was a unique playset because it was literally a playset designed for basically building your own droids. Okay, so it came with all these different pieces. It came with some wheels, it came with some treads, it came with some arms and some bodies, and you could literally build your own droids, different types of droids. Then you can take them apart and build other ones, like millions of combinations, or maybe not millions, but many thousands of combinations. And so what I decided to do was, the salesperson, the vendor did tell me it's not complete. However, it does in fact include a lot of pieces, and it actually has a lot of extra pieces. So what I did was I pretty much set up an individual piece of all the different pieces that existed and put it here in one set, right? And then I included a few. Here was another set of a bunch of pieces that kind of were also in a kind of another set of them, not a full set, but another incomplete set of separate pieces, along with a third set of some of the arms, and then in a fourth set he had a lot of these legs. He had a lot of legs, so I included them. They're probably going to go. All of this is probably going to end up going in the cell box. Now, at first I had an idea like, well, maybe what I'll do is try to create a second complete set. But one thing this thing is missing is all of the set. It was really kind of an ingenious set, if you think, for one thing, it's a little bit warped right here though. There's a little bit of bend here. You can see if you look at it straight how it kind of bends up right here. right? So not that that's a huge deal. It's not cracked or anything. I think it's just been maybe just been sitting in storage and a certain thing up against it. I bought it like this. It was essentially this with a couple of Ziplocs on top of it. So this piece here fits on top. I don't really want to lock it in place. I don't want to risk cracking it, so I'm just kind of leaving it like this. But that's complete. It's got the hook. It's got everything on there. So it's a great piece. I featured it briefly in the car when I got out of the toy show, if you watched a few weeks ago. But this is what it looks like in terms of it's mostly complete. It is missing a few items. So I went on eBay and I was looking for places that had them. And sadly, the only thing I could find, there were two things I could find. I found some people that were selling multiple, like all the pieces, kind of like in a little shop, and you could just select the one you want, and it would tell you if it was sold out. That's a great feature that eBay has now, and I like it. But a lot of the pieces that I want are the more common pieces that get lost, I suppose, or that are more desirable. So they were either always sold out, or if I wanted to buy a complete set, it was like hundreds of dollars. So I said, all right, that's not good. The funny thing is, I have this set from when I was a kid, and I looked in my display, and I realized that I actually own a lot of the pieces that are missing. And there are some pieces that I don't own that are in here that I need. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through them at some point in the next couple of months off camera, and take the pieces out here that I need for there, put them in, and make sure I have I think I'm pretty close, if not gonna have a complete set, which I'm glad about, because that was a set I played with a lot. It just, pieces get lost. Another thing that was missing here is, if you look at these, I'll show you, like up front, like on the edge here, you have this little nub right here, this little nipple, for no other way of describing it. Like, these types of things would fit in the side of like a piece like this. So it would just temporarily lock in, right? Well, they came with these little connectors that looked like that. It was just basically that little piece right there. It had the little piece, a little ring, and then a piece on the other side. So you could lock it in to lock a lot of pieces together. There were like 16 of them. This set had none of them. I know I have quite a few because I have them connected to the droids. But to buy new ones, they're like very expensive. So I guess I don't really want to go down that road. I don't want to find myself in that situation. So, plus, I do have an R2. I have a second R2 now. The R2-D2 of this set is very popular because it was the vintage collection, meaning the original, 70s and 80s R2-D2, of which they only came out with one, or technically two. One was the droid like one of these guys, right? Basically, although this one's all messed up, but this is basically one of the droids. And they came out with another one. It had the body and 3 legs, including one like this. And I don't know if this will fit in here, but basically the third leg fit inside. The body was very similar to this, but a little bit bigger. And the thing would fit inside, right? And then you would be able to have a 3-legged R2, which was something that you couldn't get as a regular action figure. So that was really, really important. So anyway, that was one of my purchases, my acquisitions, if you will. And as I said, I'm going to get it I'm going to get my set complete as much as I can. Then I'm going to get as much of a complete set of this one as possible. And then I'll put this out for sale, probably for a little less than what I paid for it, just because I don't want to cheat anybody. But again, I'll be honest, you're watching the channel, it is not a complete set. Now, if somebody's liking this and sees stuff on here that they want to use for their own set, another option, some people like to customize them and do different things with them. That's great if you want that, or if you're interested. The pieces, these are a lot of the 3 wheels and a lot of the bodies. That's basically, and a bunch of legs. Okay, and then these are mostly just legs and extenders. So if you're interested in something, making an offer on this, just shoot me a message on the channel, or you can email me darthtuba77@gmail.com. All right, so enough talk about that. Let's first start with this one. Okay, as I said, I'm interested. See if you I don't know if my mic will pick it up, but. He's very poor. Rex is sounding pretty sad. Yeah, he's sounding pretty sad. So I think what I'm going to do is first let me see if I can save the box, just cut the tape. I don't mind doing that. I mean, I recognize that people get all although less people are getting upset about it. I think because the newer Star Wars has been so has been so mass-produced that I don't think anybody thinks that they're going to be worth anything. Although I got to say, some of these things I've seen in toy shows anyway for a decent amount of money. So I don't know. We'll see. Whew. Okay. So that appears to be pretty easy to do. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is just take my little screwdriver here. You know, here's the Starspeeder. This is the Starspeeder 3000. This is before Star Tours had its renovation, refurbishment in 2010. And again, for any, oh, that was interesting. With that. Yeah, it's very. I'm going to. I don't know if you can hear it, but they had one of these pull features. You know, the tab. So I think you weren't supposed to have the sound working, although it does say "try me." So I don't know why that was a thing, but whatever. I have learned that if you have the option to pull the battery out, pull the battery out. Unless you are somebody who collects on a regular basis, you know, and somebody who is constantly in your collection area and constantly playing with your toys, like constantly activating them and pressing the buttons, just get those batteries out, because that way they will last. And you won't get the batteries to bleed. That's the biggest thing. In fact, I noticed some toys actually give you that option. They can actually access it without opening up the package. This one I had to open up the package. But it's a great vehicle. Yeah, you know what? I think, I think I'm going to keep it out. I appreciate that there's a contingency of people who really want it, but I don't know. I'm pretty attached to the poor Rex. I'm pretty attached to the figure. I'm pretty attached to this. I have a very big affinity for Star Tours. To me, that was like Star Wars, you know, new movies when it came out in '87. I was so excited. I mean, we literally made a trip to California to see it, you know, because it came out in Disneyland first, and that was it was fantastic. I mean, it was just such a, you know, it was the first kind of thing of its time. You know, it was the first example of living in living in the story. You know, like being part of something. I mean, I know that, you know, these days, when you think of things like, there's nothing else in there. When you think of things like the Halcyon Star Cruiser, or even Galaxy's Edge, or even the Wondrous World of Harry Potter, you know, for those Harry Potter fans, you know, and I'll say it too, the Star Trek experience. Star Trek experience. Look it up. It was in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Hilton. It lasted for a couple of years. It was an amazing thing, and in many ways, they were the precursor to Galaxy's Edge. The only downside was that it was in a casino, and there was a lot of people there just there to gamble, so they couldn't like fully immerse yourself. They had to, you know, and they took a more tongue-in-cheek approach to this. All right, this is really cool. You got the, you know, the little hatch comes out, and this is what the seats used to look like, you know, the little orange seats, and then you could take there's a little semicircle thing here. You put Rex in there. All right there, dude. Come on. And then you turn. Now that's interesting. They have Rex facing you, which I thought is interesting. And then if you look here, you can see the Star Tours, you know, imagery and stuff. So I don't think there's any other parts of it. It does run on its own like that. I don't think it has any kind of electronics other than the. Yeah, it just kind of goes backwards and forwards. As I said, I kept the batteries out because, frankly, the batteries are going to just leak, and this by itself kind of, you know, works really well. In fact, I think what I might end up doing is moving some of these guys and just kind of giving them a new home here. So there we go. Cool. All right. Now this guy, I want to have another ATST, and this is the ATST. Now I know that. I was looking through my collection, and I swore that I picked up an ATST in the 90s that was the same mold as the 80s, okay? I can only find my original. So I wonder if this is the one. I mean, it is Power of the Jedi. It is 2001. It's a few years later. So I thought there was something there. But I decided, you know what? I have a couple more that are packaged. I'm going to unbox this one and put it on display. And I also want to get the little Ewok on his little, what is it, Paplu? You know, I want to get him out of there because I think that's awesome. I mean, the box is great, and I do appreciate the box art, you know, and everything. But in essence, except that both of these toys, it was we're back to the twist ties. Love twist ties. They're fun. They're so much fun. But as I said, you know, I'm not out, you know, especially since, you know, I've done some of these auctions and I've seen that, you know, the newer 90s stuff is not selling for the same amount as some of these old ones. And in fact, let's see if I can get this. There we go. The newer ones aren't selling to the same level. I mean, you know, some people. There's been a lot of talk on you know, social media lately about how, you know, people saying, well, you know, they're not gonna. Boy, this is gonna take a little more work than I thought, unless I pull the whole thing out. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot of talk about people saying, well, you know, this is gonna devalue Star Wars. First of all, nobody ever created these toys with the idea that they were going to somehow be valuable and traded like currency. So anybody who feels like that is how it should be, coins, stamps, okay? Other, you know, even movie memorabilia, just something else other than toys, okay? Just get over yourself. Toys are fun experiences for children of all ages, and they're playthings. You are a child's plaything. You know, and it's important. It's important to understand that these are not meant to be. Yeah, I know these days, you know, Hasbro will put out very expensive items that they know are for collectors, like the HasLab things, like the Barge and stuff like that. But let me say this. Anybody my age remembers, not so much, I mean, you know, we Star Wars fans, we had our Death Star space station, we had our, you know, Ewok village, but you know what we didn't have, but the G.I. Joe fans had? The USS Flag. This thing was monstrous. This thing was 4, 5, 6 feet long. Now, most of it was kind of a soft, like either like a really hard cardboard around a very cheap plastic frame, and it was really only the middle of the aircraft carrier that was all the, you know, the guts and the stuff that you would have fun with. You know, we never got that. That was not something for collectors. That was something for kids to play with. That was a high-end playing toy. So to me, I'm like, don't ever talk to me about, you know, that. You know, that to me is ridiculous. To think that toys are only for you know, designed for collectors. Yes, I do recognize some of the new ones are. I'm putting a lot of dialogue here because there's a lot of twist ties. Power of the Force, Power of the Jedi, rather. They had a lot of twist ties. I'm going to see if I can cut some of these because they're just so much. There we go. Come on. Out you go. Out you go. Oh my goodness. When you unbox, make sure you have some wire cutters, knife. Oh my goodness. Now, of course, I might actually keep some of this on him because I feel like the thing is, like, I want it to look like he's actually flying from it. You know the part where I think it's Paplu, and he steals the speeder bike, and all the biker scouts chase after him, and then you see him. He's like, whoa, whoa, you know, it's so cool. But yeah, I think I might just leave him like this. It has a little plastic piece, but I'm gonna leave it like that to kind of keep it together, and it looks like he's kind of being dragged. Then he gets shot and he spins around. You know, it's fun. I like it. So, all right. So there's our bikers, or not our biker scout, but our speeder bike with Ewok. Put this down here. Now, I think that's the only other thing that came with this. So let me see if I can remove our walker here. I already have my vintage, you know, my old walker there, but I'm trying to Goodness gracious. Okay. Put this guy. Come on. I'm also a little afraid because these things are kind of flimsy, you know? 20-minute video of me actually unboxing it. It's crazy. But the last couple of videos I haven't done any unboxing, so. And as I said in previous videos, there we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Goodness gracious me, as Sleepy would say. This is like crazy stuff, man. All right, go on. Get in there. Stay. Yikes. Don't fall. Just stay. All right, there we go. All right. So, again, it's the original mold, right? So it's got that thing. Now, they've created a newer one, which I think is more to scale with the figures, but I love this one. I just do. And it has this little cool feature on the back where you can keep it in standing mode, right? Or you could do it in walking mode, and it has a little button on the back, and it does the walk. Of course, it doesn't really walk. It just kind of, you have to kind of, it also feels like you can be dancing. Shuffling off the buffalo, shuffling off the buffalo. Okay, sorry, I'm a little weird, I know. I'm gonna lock it back into there. It's got the really cool hood. One-seater, that's one of the nice thing about the bigger one. The bigger one you can put two pilots in. But, you know, for what you want with this, it's there. It's got a nice, little bit bigger, better paint scheme, okay? I do believe they've come out with several versions of these, and then they made it bigger, and they had several versions of those, all right? I do have a couple of those, but I don't have a lot of room for the, in that space. If you watch when I did my expanding the Moon of Endor, I don't have a lot of room for these, so I figured these would fit in there nicely, so we'll get them in there. And then, you know, in another video, I'll kind of, you know, redo that. I'm really enjoying kind of revisiting the collection, consolidating, moving some shelves around, moving some stuff around. I look forward to continuing to share that with you. Yes, there will still be unboxing that's coming in. I'm really into I really enjoy it. I think I got bit by the bug of customization and things of that nature. I don't know how much of that I'm going to do like on a regular basis. Right now, you know, again, I know it's February, at least at the time of the recording of this, but the time I get this out to you, it'll probably be mid-March. But that means that by the time you see this video, I only have 3 months until my Star Wars sale. And I need to prepare for that, all right? I have a lot to do. I have a lot to happen. I mean, and I want to make sure that I do it the right way. So, you know, there'll be a lot of episodes with clean out and clean up and straightening up. And, you know, the funny thing is that last year I did this, and I kind of went overkill because I did not sell everything, which didn't disappoint me at all. I mean, it was nice to know that I still have some stuff that I can use for future sales. But, you know, I don't want to have to store it too much. So I'm hoping that we can have a successful sale this year so that I can clean out a lot of stuff. I'm going to kind of keep the prices reasonable so that happens. So that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification, do all that other stuff. Check me out on Instagram and X, Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. And thank you, Red 5 Network, for always supporting us and promoting our channel. Check out all the other content on Red 5. There's some great podcasts and YouTube channels you'll love. Until next time, folks, this is Darth Tuba saying, may the Force and the toys be with you. Whee!